Okay, boys, good afternoon. Once again, welcome back to all important chapter, molecular inheritance. So, this chapter I said is very important, not just for the sake of your CBSE board exam, it's very important in our general day to day life. After all, we'll be knowing about what is going on inside us. We know that proteins play a crucial role in our life and they are responsible for the overall growth and development of an individual. And they are responsible for expressing the traits that we display, characters that we display. If you recollect from your memory, I said that Griffith's experiment, transforming principle, what is that? That is changing the R strain into S strain, isn't it? So previously people thought that it must be something that is present inside the cell. Then later on, with the help of so many scientists' contribution, various experiments conducted by able scientists, people thought it must be nucleus that must be responsible for the change, for the traits that organism expresses. Then comes a day where people thought it is the chromosomes that are responsible. Later on, we said DNA, and if you recollect from your memory, two scientists proved that DNA is the genetic material. Can you name those two scientists, Kadkol? Who are those who proved that DNA is the genetic material? Yes, Vivek? Yes, Rakesh?
Henry and Chase.
Hershey and Chase. Not Henry, Hershey and Chase. Okay? And now, yes, in this concept we are trying to explain that it is ultimately not the DNA, not the genes, it is the proteins. And proteins, thanks to ribosomes are the protein synthesizing factories. And how exactly the proteins are being synthesized, we understand through this concept called transcription. Okay? So there are two steps. One is transcription, another is translation. At the end of that, chain of amino acids will be formed inside the cytoplasm of each cell, and many amino acids join together to form proteins, and proteins make the characters to be expressed. Hence, we now understand that proteins are the ultimate secrets. So, to begin with, step number one, transcription. We said it is in simple words we can say, it is the copying of genetic information from DNA to RNA. Or Kadkol says, converting DNA into RNA is transcription. And we also said that a nitrogenous base called uracil will be present in RNA in place of thymine. I think all this we talked about. Okay? And there will be two types of strands. One is the coding strand and the lagging strand. And as the DNA gets replicated, RNA will be formed. And wherever thymine is there, just now I said, wherever thymine is there, you can see in that pink ribbon. What is it there? U, isn't it? Uracil is there, right? And then there is orientation, 53 and 35, 5 prime to 3 prime and 3 prime to 5 prime orientation. And overall, in a nutshell, if we have to show the entire transcription process, it is basically in this way. Basically, there will be DNA molecule having a template strand and coding strand, and there will be a region or a place, area called promoter region, which promotes the transcription. At that point of place in DNA, the replication starts. We call it as ORI, origin of replication. And then there is structural gene, And as the DNA replication starts, as I said, every process that starts must end at one time or the other. And the place at which the DNA replication stops is called terminator. So basically, there will be two DNA strands, coding strand and template strand. One ORI will be there, one promoter region will be there, and then structural gene followed by terminator. This is what the structure of a transcription unit or transcription unit. So basically, it has got three regions: a promoter region, a structural gene region, and a terminator region. And not to forget the orientation, that is 3' to 5' and 5' to 3'. Particularly this coding strand is, you must remember, 53, 5' to 3'. And at the termination site, it is meant for stoppage of the transcription. So DNA replication will be stopped at that place. And then we said RNAs are of three types. One is the mRNA, messenger RNA. As the name suggests, the messenger RNA will carry the messages of inheritance. Okay. And second one is rRNA, ribosomal RNA. It is present within the ribosomes and they are responsible for protein synthesis. And the third one, named aptly as transfer RNA, it transfers the messages from one end to another end, right? And there is a word called cistron. Cistron is segment of DNA coding for a polypeptide. What is polypeptide? The other day I said, if amino acids are joined together in the form of chain, that's polypeptide. Many amino acids are joining together to form a protein. Like I said, amino acid 1 joins with amino acid 2, that is a protein. AA1 plus AA2 plus AA3, that's another protein. So many amino acids, chain of amino acids join together to form a protein. In other words, Kadkol says in the chemistry language, many monomers join together to form a polymer. Protein is a polymer. Amino acid is a monomer. Okay? And where exactly is the gene location in the DNA? As you are seeing, see that loop. Within the loop, two loops with a distance of 34 angstrom units, we said specifically. That would constitute a gene. And then we said structural gene in a transcription unit has two types. One is the monocistronic structural gene, or it is also famous as split genes. It is seen in eukaryotes. Here the coding sequences, exons or expressed sequences, are interrupted by intervening sequences. So exons appear in a processed mRNA. Introns do not appear in processed mRNA. Now, what exactly it means? Now you can see the monocistronic structural gene will be like this. So there will be exon and inside intron. So two types of genes. Exon is the one that is seen outside, externally. Okay? And intron is present in between in that structural gene. So exon, intron both together will make a monocistronic, okay, monocistronic gene, structural gene, and that is seen in eukaryotes, whereas polycistronic is seen in prokaryotes. How it will be that polycistronic, you can see here. 1 minute. Yes, look at that. No split genes. So continuously gene arrangement will be there. The structural gene will have continuous gene 1, gene 2, gene 3 like this. Since many genes are there in a cistronic structure, we say polycistronic. And then comes the actual synthesis of RNA in prokaryotes. So the transcription has 3 steps. Already we talked about it: initiation, elongation, and termination. And for prokaryotes, we have taken the example of bacteria. So in initiation, look at that, there must be 2 things. One is an enzyme called RNA polymerase, and second one is sigma factor. These 2 will make the DNA molecule to replicate, right? So sigma factor is a must for initiation of the transcription. And then second, elongation. You can see that RNA polymerase entering inside the DNA and splitting it across, but presence of sigma factor is there. And as it comes to the area of terminator region, now you can see the presence of RNA coming out of it, RNA being formed from DNA, RNA is formed, and there is a factor called Rho factor. Rho factor, right? There is presence of Rho factor. So if you see carefully, for first 2 steps, that is initiation and elongation, it is the sigma factor. For termination, it is the Rho factor. I told you to keep this difference in mind. But of course, an enzyme called RNA polymerase is a must for this. So only we said transcription in prokaryotes has 3 steps: initiation, elongation, termination. Initiation is marked with splitting, beginning to split of DNA molecule. Elongation is virtual, making the 2 threads separate, elongation, so that one thread mRNA will be formed. And termination, it is the signal for completing the task and making the DNA to stop forming RNA. That is termination process. So in initiation, as we said, it is the sigma factor, and you can see the presence of the RNA getting formed, and also you can see here the initiation factor. 2 things are compulsory. One is the RNA polymerase, another is the sigma factor. And then elongation, both the things are essential, and the orientation you must remember is 53, 5 prime to 3 prime. So this is about elongation. You can see virtual splitting of the DNA molecule, 2 threads, right? You can see the elongation. And then as we move to termination, a new factor will come, Rho factor. Rho factor, presence of Rho factor is the signal for termination of the process. Look at that. So at the end of the termination, you get that RNA. So DNA getting converted into RNA, thereby transferring all the genetic messages from DNA to RNA. This broadly we call it as transcription. Okay. So what is required? There should be a promoter region. There should be an enzyme called RNA polymerase. There are 2 threads of the DNA, coding strand and template strand, and then terminator region. The termination of that will take place. So you can see this in your group when I send to you after this class. You can go through that. So in bacteria, transcription and translation can be coupled. So translation begins before what we call mRNA is fully transcribed, because mRNA requires no processing to become active. Already it is active. Transcription and translation take place in same compartment. There is no need for separation. As you are seeing here, look at that. Within the cell, bacterial cell, one side it is the transcription, wherein DNA molecule is forming RNA molecule, in specific mRNA, and immediately the moment mRNA is formed, it is just like I said, a railway platform, a single thread. Over the railway platform, you just imagine the goods train coming and stopping there with the different compartments. Those compartments are ribosomes. Okay, so you have a platform, you have a train or a goods train, and bogies are there. So here the platform is mRNA, the bogies are ribosomes, and then a connecting link is there. So when the process starts, okay, there will be what we call third one, tRNA, transfer RNA. So the transfer RNA also will have nitrogenous bases. Remember in my previous class I said tRNA is in the form of clove shaped, and that will have the 3 nitrogen bases. We say the nitrogenous bases present in mRNA are called triplet code, and if this triplet code matches with the anticodons of the tRNA, then one amino acid will be released. And like this, as the train moves, ribosomal train, and the matching takes place between the triplets of code and anticodon, or codon and anticodon of nitrogen bases, amino acids will be released in a row. You can see the same thing here. See the processing. DNA is there inside the cell, and DNA is splitting off, DNA replication is taking place, RNA is formed, and that RNA is single thread having nitrogen bases, and the orientation is 53 acid, 5 prime to 3 prime. That mRNA will be joined with ribosomal RNA or RNA, ribosomes will join, and then there is release of chain of amino acids. And chain of amino acids together will make a protein, right? So here, if you carefully observe, the DNA replication in eukaryotes is taking place inside the nucleus, whereas once the mRNA is formed, see, look at that, mRNA with 5 prime to 3 prime is coming out of the nucleus, and protein synthesis is taking place in the cytoplasm. I hope you have noticed that, right? Look at that, eukaryotic cell. No coupling of transcription and translation. Both are separate. Transcription is taking place inside the nucleus. Translation is taking place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Whereas in prokaryotes, look at that, since there is no well-defined nucleus, prokaryotes it is only nucleoid. So there is no much difference between transcription and translation as far as area is concerned. Everything is taking place in the cytoplasm of the cell, right? So in eukaryotes, there are 2 additional complexities. What are those? There are 3 RNA polymerases. So the primary transcript, that is hnRNA, contains exons and introns and are non-functional. Okay, now look at this, the primary transcript. And here there are 2 types, exons and introns. So to make the functional genes to join together, the introns have to be removed. Then you get that primary transcript, hnRNA, right? And then you can see here varieties of enzymes are to be present in this. There we said only one enzyme. Here RNA polymerase 1. This transcribes ribosomal RNAs. Ribosomal RNAs, remember? I said ribosomes will have two subunits, one bigger unit, one smaller unit. We said 30S and 70S like that. Okay? This makes the rRNAs. So for that, one enzyme called RNA polymerase 1 is required. Second, RNA polymerase 2. What does this enzyme will do? Transcribes the heterogeneous RNA, that is hnRNA. It is the precursor of mRNA. Means for the formation of mRNA, this is a must. And the third enzyme, RNA polymerase 3, transcribes tRNA. I said tRNA is like clove, lavanga, transfer RNA. Okay, and 5S RNA, and then snRNA, small nuclear RNAs. So these three enzymes are must during the phase of transcription in eukaryotes. So basically, if you see the diagram again, look at that. So basically, there has to be a DNA molecule, okay, and then the three enzymes, RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, RNA polymerase 3 must be there, so that these types of RNAs are formed. From rRNA gene, due to presence of RNA polymerase 1, rRNA, ribosomal RNA is formed. And then due to presence of protein gene, RNA polymerase 2 presence will make mRNA. And then transfer RNA gene, because of the presence of RNA polymerase 3, will make tRNA to be formed. So this is what we said the other day when we said RNA world. There will be three types of RNA: mRNA, messenger RNA; rRNA, ribosomal RNA; tRNA, transfer RNA. Okay. Now,
sir, are there any differences between RNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3, sir?
yes, because as you are able to see, each enzyme is performing specific function. Basically, all the three are enzymes. The other day I said ASE, anything that ends with ASE is an enzyme. Okay? Remember, polymerase. And you know polymer is the bigger molecule that is formed due to the combination of many monomers. Okay? So here the polymerase refers to an enzyme that is responsible for formation of polymers. What polymer? rRNA polymer in case of RNA polymerase 1. mRNA in case of RNA polymerase 2. And of course, RNA polymerase 3 is responsible for formation of tRNA, transfer RNA. Right? Understood? So this is how in eukaryotes three varieties will be formed. Three types of RNAs are formed. Now, when we go to the primary RNA transcript, like you have got exons 1 and introns. I said exons are different from introns. Introns are present in between the molecule. Exons are present outside. Now there is a process called splicing. What is that splicing? From heteronucleus RNA, introns are removed by splice sum and exons are spliced together. The purpose is to join the exons. Okay? Introns are to be removed. For that, the process called splicing will take place. And this is followed by another one called capping. Here, a nucleotide, what nucleotide? Methyl guanosine triphosphate, that's a cap, is added to 5' end of hRNA. And then third one is tailing. These three steps will take place. That is polyadenylation. Here adenylate, okay, numbering it is a residue, 200 to 300 are added at 3' end. So in eukaryotes, these three steps will take place: splicing, capping and tailing. Let us see this, how exactly this takes place through a diagram. Now look at that. So basically there is a DNA molecule, right? The DNA molecule replication starts. Now there is a cap. Look at that. Something has entered hnRNA. And then the mRNA is formed. And there you can see the exons and introns being present, yellow and red ones. And the orientation is 5' to 3'. Okay? Then splicing. What is splicing? Remove those red ones, introns. Right? And after removing it, you are getting, see, last one, mRNA with the full yellow color. And then there is a tailing, poly A tail, the green color one. Now it is fully processed hnRNA called mRNA, messenger RNA. So this is how from DNA replication a mRNA will be formed, messenger RNA will be formed. For the formation of this, 3 steps are required. One is the capping, splicing and tailing. Okay? You can see here the same steps here. Splicing, wherein introns are removed. Capping, as the name suggests, a nucleotide is added at 5'. And tailing, here the adenylate residues are added at 3'. So these 3 steps will complete the process of formation of mRNA. Right? Now you can see the nitrogenous bases which are responsible for the formation of particular amino acid in the form of a wheel. Okay? What did he call it? Genetic code. Okay? Now, what is a genetic code? It is the sequence of nucleotides. What are nucleotides? Nitrogenous bases. Where is it present? In the mRNA. That contains information for protein synthesis. Okay? Now that information from DNA has come to mRNA. I hope I am not confusing. First thing, step number 1, DNA molecule is to undergo replication. DNA replication. DNA having 2 threads will split, right? And the thread, that is leading thread that will be formed, is mRNA. And how that mRNA is formed? Just now I said 3 steps must take place. And once that is completed, all the genetic information that was in DNA is transferred to mRNA. And there is a particular sequence, yesterday I told you, sequence of 3 nitrogenous bases determine single amino acid is called codon. Now, let me tell you here. For example, AUG, okay? A for adenine, U for uracil. Why uracil, Rakesh? Why uracil here?
Sir?
Why uracil? Why you?
RNA.
Very good. This is mRNA, RNA. So uracil will be there. Good. So AUG, like Rakesh writes months, August, AUG. So this is called initiating codon. Means this will start initiating the process of formation of amino acids. And many amino acids, as and when they are formed in the cytoplasm, join together and form a protein. Hence, first, before protein is formed, it is the amino acids that are to be released in the cytoplasm. And how they will be released? With the help of a triplet code. And what is a triplet code? 3 nitrogenous bases together must be present. That's called codon, like AUG. A is a nitrogen base, adenine, U is uracil, G is guanine. So AUG, 3 nitrogenous bases. This is called codon or triplet code. This triplet code is responsible for releasing particular amino acid into the cytoplasm. I hope I have made it clear. Okay? Rakesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. As we go further, we understand that many scientists, including our own Indian scientists, Hargobind Khurana, they have done wonderful work in decoding the genetic code, and they made us to understand how exactly both transcription and translation takes place in human beings. And they have identified the number of genes or amino acids that are present in our body naturally. And they have done this wonderful work of finding out the codons, okay, triplet code, and particularly Hargobind Khurana, look at that, he developed a chemical method. Okay, first we'll go to Gamow. So salute him, George Gamow, suggested that for coding 20 amino acids which will be there naturally in our body, the code should be made up of 3 nucleotides. So there are 4 to the power 3, means 3 times 3, 4. 4 into 4 into 4. That means totally there should be 64 codons. Just now I said, what is a codon? Codon is a 3 nitrogenous bases together. Triplet code, like I said, AUG is a triplet code that is responsible for a particular amino acid. So the 20 amino acids that are present in our body, like your maths teacher will tell you, no, permutation and combination. So through permutations and combinations, 20 amino acids will arrange in such a way that varieties of proteins are formed. That's how the proteins that are responsible for our growth and development and for other characters, traits, varieties of proteins are formed in our body. And next, we should be proud of our own Indian scientist, Hargobind Khurana, developed the chemical method in synthesizing RNA molecules, okay, with defined combinations of nitrogenous bases. Okay, he could do, you can imagine, if 3 nitrogenous bases are together, like I said, AUG, that will be responsible for formation of a particular amino acid, release of particular amino acid. Like that, he has done for all the nitrogenous bases. Look at the patients that he had. Okay, that's how our Indian scientist is great. And then Marshall Nirenberg developed cell-free system for protein synthesis. So he has, in fact, did a great work and explained the full protein synthesis. And then polynucleotide phosphorylase, that is Savo-Ochoa, it is named after the scientist. It is used to polymerize RNA with defined sequences in a template independent manner. Okay, so these 4 scientists have done great work, and the 20 amino acids that are present in our body naturally are these, okay, alanine, arginine, all these. I am sure you may recollect from class 11th biomolecules chapter. I think at least 1 or 2 structures you must be recollecting from your memory. Basically, any amino acid will be having carbon at the center, and carbon is having tetravalency, 4 free electrons. So with the presence of 4 free electrons, it will form 4 bonds with other atoms or compounds. Like, you know, in any amino acid, one is the amino group. That's why we are saying amino acid. Amino group means NH2 will be there. Another one is the carboxylic acid, that is COOH. and the third one will be hydrogen, and fourth one must be R group. R group means your chemistry teacher must have told you functional group. So that functional group varies from amino acid to amino acid. So this is how 20 amino acids are present in our body, and these 20 amino acids, look at that, based on the triplet code, they combine in different fashions. Like you got, let us say, 3 amino acids with you, like Kadkol, amino acid A, amino acid B, amino acid C. So A, B, C combined together, that's a protein. A, C, B, this is another protein. B, A, C, another protein. So it is, that's what I said in mathematics, your teacher will be telling you, permutation and combinations. Exactly this takes place. And look at that, the codons, just now I said, 3 nitrogenous bases are responsible for particular amino acid. And this is called genetic code dictionary. Now I want you to go through like this. Just like in genetics chapter, we used, what is that? Whenever we were representing genotype and phenotype, you see, we were using the cross. Yes, Kadkol, what is that name we were talking? What square we were telling? It is named after a British scientist, I said, in genetics chapter. Punnett square, very good. Just like that, see here. On left side you are taking uracil, cytosine, adenine, guanine. On top, same, uracil, cytosine, adenine, guanine, isn't it? And on right side you are writing all these. UCAG, UCAG, UCAG. Now you write the combination. From top it is U, from left side it is U, and from right side it is U. So if the triplet code is U, 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 the amino acid that is coded is phenylalanine, PHE. I hope you understood this. So a triplet code is responsible for a amino acid release. Phenylalanine, U, U, U. Like that. Similarly, U, U, C, again phenylalanine. U, U, A, leucine. Like that, you can see number of amino acids. All this work is done by Hargobind Khurana. That is why we should put a salute to him. And salient features of genetic code, I think I will take up tomorrow. Okay, right? You keep on, just I will post this. Just keep on reading this table, genetic code, right? Okay, bye.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.